Grupos 400 with the driver of the number 18, M&M's Toyota, and that is Kyle Busch. Kyle, I know you're disappointed, but outstanding season, record-breaking season, 50 wins. Maybe talk about your night tonight, as disappointing as it is, but bright side is as strong as you were this year.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know where we missed it. Just I thought we were way closer than that yesterday, and felt pretty decent about things post happy hour and the changes that we were going to make overnight to get into the ninth race, and then just today we weren't even close. Just no rear grip all night long, just sideways, and no front grip along with that to go with it. But just on the long runs, just couldn't enter the corner, and we were just getting smoked getting into the corners and not being able to turn the steering wheel. So overall, just frustrating night. And you know, Adam called a great race, got us in position there when we you know, long ran and caught that caution luckily, and you know, everything came to fruition. Just when you're half a second off, you're not going to hold anybody back.
And we're also joined by the driver of the number 4, Jimmy John's Ford, and that's Kevin Harvick. Kevin, you led a number of laps tonight. Just take us through your race, please.
Yeah, we had a daytime race car. As soon as it got dark, we just never could get our car tightened up there at the end, and then they made a great call to put us in position to, you know, to win the race, and you know, then the caution came out when the 2 cars spun the 19 out and came off pit road, you know, 4th, and just our strong point was not the restarts tonight, and wound up on the wrong side of it.
Thank you, gentlemen. If you have questions for either Kyle or Kevin, please raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. Any questions for either Kyle or Kevin? Sorry, we got one over here, Jacob, and one.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. It seems like every year this race comes down to that late race caution. So for Kevin, as you're leading, you know, what appears to be it's going to be the championship battle there with about 25 to go, and knowing that Kyle has to pit again, in the back of your mind, is that are you just thinking, wondering, you know, what's going to happen, what's going to change this?
You know, in the end, you know, not really. I was just driving away, and you know, wound up with a restart there, and you know, didn't wind up you know, getting going at the beginning. So I don't really think about stuff like that. You're just trying to hit one lap at a time.
And we're now joined by Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 78 Toyota for Furniture Row Racing. Martin, last race with Furniture Row, obviously. Can you talk about the emotions of that and your race tonight, please?
You know, I don't know. It's a tough night. You know, it's a tough way to lose. You know, kind of reverse the tale from last year. You know, last year we did the same thing they did tonight, so that's the way it goes. But just didn't play out the way we needed it to. We were terrible for 10, 15 laps on new tires, and was able to get a good restart there at the end, luckily, and get out front. Just I had nothing for him at the end, so I needed 15, 20 more laps, and that's just the way it goes. So not sure what else to say, but really proud of everybody on our team, you know, for fighting hard this year to get to where we were, and you know, without that last caution, it was in the bag, I think, maybe. So we'll see, but hurts a little. I'm going to miss all the guys, and had a hell of 5 years with this team, so just proud of them, and we're going to celebrate no matter what tonight.
Thank you, Martin. Go up here to AJ.
Hey, Kyle, when that last caution came out, did you think you had enough? You had to have that one to you know, be in the top 4. Did you think you could hold on at that point, or you said your car was half a second slow that it wouldn't have mattered?
Yeah, I mean, I was optimistic about it, but didn't think it would be that short-lived. I figure at least maybe I could lead 3 or 4 laps, but you know, Martin got a good restart. Every time I went to the gas, it just spun the tire, so I had to keep coming back out of it, and he's going forward on me, you know. So just didn't have the best of restarts for one, but then for 2, once it got down into the corner, it just didn't turn anyways, and 22 went by, 4 went by, everybody went by. You all saw that, so just slow.
Go to Jim here in the middle, please.
Jim at motorsport.com. For Kevin, you guys didn't seem to be that happy with what you had yesterday after practice. What all went into, did you feel you had made when you got in the car and started the race? Did you feel there had been a lot of big changes made?
Yeah, we didn't make a lot of big changes. We made a lot of small changes, and the car was definitely better. But like I say, when it got dark, we just lost the rear grip and couldn't get off the corner and was having trouble turning in the corner. So the balance was really good until it was dark outside, and we just never could get the rear grip back to where we needed to, and I couldn't take off. And but like I say, I mean, they put us in a position to to win if the caution didn't come out, and we we had a shot there with I don't even know, what was there, 18 laps to go when the caution came out. So, it's just the way it all shook out. I mean, the 22 could take off really good.
Any more questions for these three? Follow up, Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport for Martin. I know second's bittersweet, but when you look back on this 5 years with Furniture Row, what will you look back on most fondly?
All of it, really, to go from a 2-race winner to a 19-race winner. I mean, a championship, a fourth in points, a second in points. It's just been amazing. So everything about it's been great. Everything about it's been the best thing I've ever been a part of. I feel good about my future and going to a great place, and I know we'll have more success. But it's going to be different, It's going to be, a different team, a different cast of characters, and these guys were a special group, and I'm very thankful to get to work with all of them. And a few are coming with us, but the ones that aren't, I wish them the best, and we'll be friends forever. So it's, it's just been a good ride. It's been a good run, and I hate to see it come to an end, but everything ends somewhere, and things change.
Any more questions for our three champions here? All right, but one last one over here, Tom.
Tom Bowles, front stretch. Kyle, the pit stall situation over the course of the weekend, do you think it threw your crew off their game a bit? You had a couple bad stops over the course of the race. Do you think it helped or hurt you in the long run?
I don't know how much adjustments we were doing and happening and things like that. We were so bad tonight on the racetrack and on pit road that nothing was kind of going our way. So it was just not all there the way that we needed it to. And sometimes it all falls into place and falls your way, and other times you got to be able to go out there and go earn it. And we didn't have either tonight.
Gentlemen, a lot of class and disappointment. Thank you so much for coming in, and congratulations on a great season. Okay, we are here with the 2018 Monster Energy Series champion owner, and that is Roger Penske, owner of Team Penske. Roger, your second Monster Energy Series championship, first with Joey. 22 scored more points than any other team throughout the playoffs. Clearly a deserved win. Talk about the playoffs and tonight.
Well, I think the playoffs, obviously with 16 down to 4, there was lots of emotion, lots of good racing, and certainly to see it today with all 4 of them up on that pylon almost all together for the whole 267 laps just shows you, how good these guys are and how good the racing is. There's just no question that, Joey wanted it bad. I think Todd Gordon, the team, gave him a terrific car. We had the benefit of being able to work on our car, after we got in at Martinsville, which certainly gives you a couple of weeks to not have the pressure, which I think was definitely a benefit for us. But there's no question that the speed we had for, say, 30 or 35 laps was pretty outstanding. And, that 19 with that spin was absolutely opportunistic for us, to get back in line here. We had some great pit stops. I think our guys on pit road showed just, how good they were today. When you look time and time again, they put us out there. So for me, it's a thank you for, all the 450 people that work at Team Penske back in Mooresville, and our sponsors, certainly for Ford. I think it's the first time they've had a championship since 2004, and to get the the Owners' Championship for the manufacturers, and also the Drivers' Championship was amazing. I think Kurt Busch was the last one that had that victory. So those are all special milestones, and for me, it's 33 championships that gives us as Team Penske, and certainly to get the Indianapolis race, the Southern 500, and now to think that we're the champion of 2018 for Monster Energy Cup is something that I never imagined at the beginning. We started out strong, I think, when you looked at our speeds at Daytona, and I think we had a little bit of a shallow spell there, and our guys got to work, and Travis Geisler and Tim Cindric and Mike Nelson, and just the whole team, along with Todd Gordon, our crew chief, just they were stellar today. And Joey's run there at the end, with Martin, that was clean, and it was amazing. Partway through the race, I said, hey, we're not in this thing. And then you get up front and run, and you say, well, I feel a bit better. And I'm not sure anybody, if you looked at the first 150 laps, knew who was going to win. So I think that's what the fans wanted.
Great, thank you, Roger. We'll start up here with Holly.
Hi, Roger. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I wondered if you could speak to the point that the Ford Championship drivers really settled this race among the four of them. This was tight the whole way, and it was all four of the guys that were going for the championship that really fought and decided it.
Well, I think, this is what it's supposed to be, the four best at the end. And I think the stage points, gave drivers that competed and won during the season a chance to get to the end. And I think winning races, during the playoffs were important. So, four great drivers. Obviously I got a great, admiration for Kevin and Kyle and certainly Martin. Obviously, a lot of noise about Martinsville. I really, my key thing for the 78 team is to thank Barney Visser for, coming to our sport. A guy from Colorado. He's an individual, a guy of high integrity, and certainly I know he didn't want to shut down his team, but he brought a lot to the sport. So I want to really say this victory, certainly I want to thank him, based on our team. And, Dwayne Fenkel, who you saw his name on Joey's car, the 22 car, was one of our key guys that died in a car crash here a couple of weeks ago. So Joey was carrying his name on the car. So a couple of special points there I wanted to make.
Go here to Bob.
Bob Chris, ESPN. Roger, you've obviously watched Joey throughout his career. I'm curious when you think maybe he changed from being a fearful driver to being a fearless driver.
Well, I don't know. I think he's a tough guy. And, Brad and I sat down when we had an opening, and Joe Gibbs didn't have a full ride for him in the Cup side, and then I talked to Joe, in fact. He said, hey, will you give me a couple of weeks? So I did, and then he didn't really have anything for him, and Brad and I felt that he'd be the guy to come to the team, and I think it's just been from that point straight up to the championship here. I mean, he's won. He's down here a couple other times. We had a chance. I think maybe we wouldn't have won, but I think we were competitive. But, I think that when it's time to go, he's the guy. I mean, there's no question. You've seen his restarts. You see him even when he's in the back, he's able to go for it. And to me, I couldn't ask for a better result and a guy that delivers it for the whole team.
Right here to George.
Over here to your congratulations, Mr. Penske. George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. Along those same lines, when you talked to him about the opening, I assume, did you see anything in him in terms of the potential? You'd seen the potential on the track, but what about the personality? Did anything stand out from the moment when you first talked to him and offered him the ride?
Well, I think I saw him as a winner because he won, certainly, I guess, it was a Busch Series then or what it was, but he was a winner and driving a good car for Joe Gibbs. He raced and beat Kyle sometimes, but overall, I sat down with Joey and his dad. It was no agents. It was just us sitting down, shaking hands on what we were going to do. And I think that I think he's a first-rate guy. You see, I said it earlier that what he did just last night to go to Publix and be able to give 100 families turkeys for Thanksgiving is a little bit that you don't see on Joey. I mean, he's been such in the limelight for the things that maybe people want to talk about, but his philanthropy and what he's done for these families is just amazing. It just continues to go, week after week. So I saw that in him. I saw his dad was behind him, and he and I have become great friends, his mother and sister. So look, these people become part of your family. And, like Rick Mears and Elio and just many, many other, Rusty, and certainly Brad, and, Blaney coming up, and, our support of the Wood brothers. This is a close-knit team, and I think that's why we're on the top.
Ready to Jenna?
Jennifer, AP. Roger, you had a pretty good year. You got elected to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. You celebrated a 500th victory as an organization, 17th Indy 500 victory, second Cup championship. You're still going for this V8 championship? Is that
it's ironic. I'm going to leave, on Thursday morning to go to Australia for we're 14 points ahead for the driver championship with Scott McLaughlin. So that would be the season they say a season to remember. There's no question when you think about the milestones and all the times we tried to win at the Brickyard. Winning all 3 races there this season. The Southern 500. Bobby Allison, I think, back was the last guy that won that for us. So you think about that history and the time and people we've been together, and Don Miller and some of the people that were really at the beginning of the start of of our team. Jimmy Makar was one of our best guys, and you see some of these people that have migrated into the other teams. But high respect for our people, and we got great sponsors. And one of the things that I'd have to say, we deliver for our sponsors, and that's given us the opportunity to fund this team at the level it needs to be.
So all those accomplishments in your hobby, not your job, your hobby, what do you credit that to? Is it your people, or is it something that you set from the top that trickles down?
Well, I think I've said it before. There's really 3 things, that, are really, I think every time I think about how we succeed and how we can be better, one is what's your brand? And this kind of winning, and not only on the racetrack, but in business, drives a great Penske brand, which has been terrific. I think technology is so important when you think about, what technology has done to us in business, and think about the technology up and down that pit lane today. You got to be on top of it. But underlining that in the foundation of everything else is your people. So if I can manage those 3 pillars, I think we'll continue to have success.
Before we continue questions, we are now joined by the championship-winning crew chief.
Congrats.
Thank you. And that is Todd Gordon. Maybe talk about Joey, this championship, but especially your pit crew with that money stop at the end there, and sort of the restart and the jump he got to take the lead and hold it for the rest of the race.
Definitely. It's. I said at the time, that's in our wheelhouse. You give Joey Logano a sniff of it with a short run at the end, and seeing the front of the pack. I think all weekend we had phenomenal front run speed. We could go 15 laps, I think, better than anybody, and we knew, I felt like, and we had talked about this race typically has late caution. It's just how it kind of unfolds, that there's typically one somewhere late in the race, and when it came up, there it was, our opportunity in Joey's, and you give him that opportunity of here it is, it's right in front of you. He steps up to another level. So great run there. We tightened him up and got him tight enough to what he could really hustle, and made good work of making speed and getting to the front, getting clean air.
Thank you, Todd. We'll continue the questions with Jacob on the left.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. I've got one for each of you. Roger, you talked earlier about some of what you saw in Joey, but it still seemed like for a while it was a building process. Can you speak a little bit to kind of the maturation and growth of Joey into the championship driver at Team Penske that we've had tonight?
Well, I think, he led a streak of wins, in Xfinity, he and Brad, which really showed us. And when you think about the guys that we have on today on the Cup side, Todd being one of them, and Paul Wolf, and certainly Jeremy Bullins, these guys all helped Joey grow because they were crew chiefs in the Nationwide or Xfinity, and I saw that continued evolution, and then this partnership. I think, Todd, you've been together now, 5 years?
Yeah, this is our 13 was our first year together. So.
Yeah, so 5 years, and again, turnover hurts you as a team.
Six years.
And six, and you think of that continuity, that's also made a difference. And I think these guys have their days. Obviously, they don't agree. On the other hand, we know when we go to the racetrack, we're going there together, and that's made a big difference. And I think you give Todd a lot of credit, and certainly the guys at the shop building these cars. I mean, remember, these guys drive and bring them to the track, but there's 450 other people, are doing wind tunnel work, all the simulations, all the things building these bodies, and you can see it. I mean, the evolution is just amazing. I think Joey just continued to mature as a person. Look, he's a young guy. I can tell. I've got kids that were 20, and the ones 26 seem to have more maturity than the other ones. So I guess that's all the way we grow up. And I think with the right parents, you might say, or the right guidance that we gave Joey and support, I backed him all the time. And you know how I felt on some of the comments that have been made over the last several weeks. Look, I think today he proved he put it on the line, and he delivered.
Todd, you sit here tonight as the champion crew chief, but probably less people in this room know that you used to race, actually ran a limited super modified back at Oswego Speedway years ago. Did you ever think back then that you would sit here tonight at the pinnacle like this?
No. When we packed up and moved south, I was just hoping to work in racing, and that was back in '98. But it's just, it's a testament to opportunity, and this guy to my right, he believed in me, and I got a shot at the Xfinity program, then Nationwide, and showed a little bit of promise, and got this opportunity. I think you just got to keep your head down, and good things can happen.
Okay, we've got several more. We'll go over here to Jim Butter. Raise your hand, Jim, please.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. For Todd, you and Joey were both adamant going into this season that you were not going to repeat 2017. And you guys got off to a much better start, but you also had the big three kind of pull away with a lot of wins. But you guys did something that doesn't happen a lot. You actually got really your best as the season came to an end. That doesn't typically happen a lot. I just wondered, what was it about your team that made it the best when it counted the most?
Well, I think a couple things happened this year. If you go back to last year here, we had a solid day here. Ran the top 5 most all day, and I think it was the first step of what we needed to focus on to make 18 be a successful year. We took that, and we did. We came off with speed to start the year, and that win at Talladega put us in an opportunity where we were pretty much guaranteed through. With the way the wins had stacked up for a couple drivers, you knew that a win was going to get you there. So we took the summer to really look at different avenues of how we make our cars handle. And given the struggles that we had in 17, we needed to find a different path. So we took the summer actually after the win to try to understand what works for our race cars. And that path, I think, at times you wander on the wrong path there, but race by race, we worked on what we could, and then when it came time to be playoff time, we kind of focused back on, hey, what have we learned, and what do we need to do to be successful through the playoffs? I think if you look at it, about the 1st of August, we got back on that path and said we've got to tune ourselves up for where the playoffs are. And I read a thing on NASCAR.com, but our average finish from Watkins Glen to here was pretty decent. We got back and we took the time to learn what we could, and then we turned it around and said, how do we make this charge at the playoffs now? Because we didn't have the playoff points that some of the big three did.
But you did, I believe, scored the most points of anybody during the playoff race.
Execution. We had speed. I think that's one thing that people didn't. We didn't have all the win stickers sitting down the C post, but we had speed, and we just needed to work on some things. And we took, with the struggles of last year, we took the opportunity to learn more this year, and not necessarily race the wins as much as race the knowledge, so that we could put ourselves in the right position to lead into the playoffs and run through the playoffs, and it worked.
Over here to Steve.
Steve Schweitzer with the NASCAR Press. Two for Roger. Given your close association with Ford Motor Company, what does it mean to you as an owner to be the one to break their drought and deliver that first Drivers' Championship?
You know, delivering the Manufacturers' Championship and the Drivers' Championship, where it's been, you know, drought for them, and for Edsel's been a personal friend of mine for a long time, and John Henricks and Jim Farley and the whole team, Mark Rushbrook and, you know, Lance and, you know, Dave Parasek, all the people that have done so much at Ford, and they've stayed committed with us. And, you know, we came on with Roush, and then a tremendous, they came to me and said, look, we're going to sign up Stuart Howes. I said, look, that gives the Ford a real offense. And I think that, you know, is the brand, as I talked earlier, this is part of building a brand.
Thank you. And the follow-up, what did Edsel say to you after the race?
I'm sorry?
What did Edsel say to you after the race?
Oh, he was thrilled. I mean, he came up to me, and, you know, we lived over in Detroit together, and he just said thanks. He said, I never believed I'd be standing up here. I mean, he was thrilled.
Up here to Lee.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. I have to ask you, knowing Joey as well as you do, what kind of champion do you think he will be? We asked Steve Phelps earlier today about trying to get personalities back in this sport, but if we had to pick somebody to represent the sport as its champion, could you find someone more fitting for that role than Joey Logano?
Look, you had four great champions vying for this total championship. I think Joey, it's his first one, so everything's going to be new for him. He knows that he has to, you know, carry the NASCAR emblem, the NASCAR sport champion, and certainly from a Penske perspective, Team Penske, he's got to represent us in a first-class way, and I'm sure you'll see that throughout the season or the off-season here. He's a great guy, and look, he's a champion. I think that's number one. And a champion, I think, whether it's Harvick or Martin or Kyle, these guys are very smart. They're great athletes, and I think they understand, you know, what this means to carry this crown over the next several months. So I think he's going to be a great champion.
What do you think about a guy who was out last night doing philanthropic work when he could have very easily been spending time with Todd or the rest of the team and doing that? That's kind of what keeps him centered, and I think it's kind of what makes him different. I was just, you know. Well,
I mean, that's a side of him. You know, he got the philanthropic award the other night by, you know, I think it was NASCAR, and to me, you know, that means something. They had a lot of people that, you know, had delivered a lot back into the community, and I think that his commitment and the things that he has done, you know, gave him that championship. And I guess at the end of the day, as you get older, you say that's a real championship. We can race on the racetrack, you can win races, but to get that as a philanthropic person in NASCAR, I think is pretty special. I think we couple that together, you know, we got an A+ guy.
Stay up front here to Holly, and then go to Bob.
This is for you, Todd. I asked Roger this, but is there any special appreciation for what you guys did tonight? Because it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the first time the championship has turned out like that, where the four contenders were 1 through 4, and you guys really had to beat them.
Yeah, it was, I think when you look at it, it was, I mean, I'm probably biased here, but I would say it was the best championship 4 that we put together. Because we were the and me, you know, if you look at it, it was the big 3 and me, right? So we were the fourth wheel of the group and able to race all night long. But you can't, that's just surreal to think about. You got to race Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch for a championship and execute. Phenomenal group of guys, and you know, again, we proved you've got to win, and Joey elevated himself to do it.
Bob?
Bob Puckers, ESPN. Todd, Joey had the reputation of kind of, I don't want to say being weak, but like people could take advantage of him when he was at Gibbs. And I'm curious, when did he become kind of this fearless driver that we see now?
Boy, I think when he walked in at Team Penske, he owned the opportunity. He walked in, and I think you know, Roger believed in him as I did, and I looked at it and said, here's a kid who he wins more races in the Gibbs Busch cars at the time than Kyle did, I felt like. So he's capable. He just needed an opportunity. So he came in and believed in himself, and we believed in him. And at that point, he was not weak. He was going to race his way forward. And I think the 13 season, we won a race. We were very competitive in several, and that just continued to build the confidence. You can't say enough for what the whole team, everybody on the Shell Pennzoil team, they believe in him. They're friends. I think that's the biggest thing, is we've got a group that are all friends and comrades, and they believe in him and would do anything for him, and he came in standing his ground.
Jeff. Jeffrey Miller, Athlon Sports. Todd, did the penalties after Texas on the 4-car change the game for you guys at all, and do you think it played any role in how the rest of the championship played out?
No, I don't. It's unfortunate we end up with situations like that, but end of the day, I mean, do I think that made a huge difference? And I mean, it makes a difference, yes. But I mean, you saw the 4-car rise. They were dominant at Phoenix. They were very good at Texas. But if you look in the past, they've been really strong at Texas last fall and this spring. They should have won both of those races. So, and again tonight, we if you looked at practice, you just said the 4 was a little off, but they were dominant early in the race. They drove forward and drove away. So, great depth in that organization as well. So, I think Kevin had a great run, and just it fell down to a situation where it played into our hand.
Any more questions for either Roger or Todd? Go, if several more, we'll go to Dustin first.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Todd, how does one bounce back from the gut punches that you guys have had the last few seasons toward the end of the season, and particularly in here, 14, 16, obviously 15 so strong, 17 not making it to the playoffs? That's a lot for anybody to take. How did you get through it? How did Joey? How does anybody get through something like that?
I think the biggest thing is that this whole group believes in everybody, and it wasn't like, it's the driver's not my age. That's a good thing. He's got runway left. He's got a lot of years to be successful, and you take every situation. Obviously, 14 and 16, we were in the hunt. We just didn't completely cleanly execute, and that's a learning opportunity. And you look at those things and say, hey, we made it this far. Now how do we clean up what we need to get through? And I think it helped kind of mold the path of what we needed to focus on this weekend. And it was successful in understanding that. So you take situations when you I think you learn more from your mistakes and your faults than you do from your successes, and those are learning opportunities.
So is 16 the most painful, and does this help with that, or would that never happen?
Boy, I don't know that. I don't feel like they were painful. They're learning opportunities, and this is the format we have. It's a winner take all, one opportunity. It's a Super Bowl. It's not how you do it every day, and you're going to be racing. We're racing hard. Sometimes it's going to work your way, and sometimes it's not. And yeah, 16, I thought we had a shot, but Carl was really strong too. We were going to have to race Carl pretty hard, and that's why we ended up tangled together, because the two of us both knew that we were going to have to race each other pretty hard for that last restart, and that was part of what Carl said to us when we hopped up on the box. So I don't see it as disappointing as much as just it's encouraging to something to build off of.
Okay, and we'll end it with that. Todd, Roger, congratulations. Thanks for all the time, and enjoy this victory in this championship.
Thank you.
Right.
You are
22. Shell Pennzoil Ford. That's Joey Logano. Joey, congratulations, and has it sunk in yet? Talk about being a champion.
It's just, man, it's incredible what goes through your mind and how it feels to be able to cross the start-finish line. You're able to take the lead, and there's quite a few laps left, and as you get closer, 5 laps, 4 laps, you're counting them down. You're like, I just want to take the white flag to where the caution comes out, we got it. And it really felt a lot like my first win in Pocono, and kind of that same thing, because how big that first win was to me. And once you get that first win, your goal changes to winning a championship. And I remember those laps there, and my foot would shake on the way down to put the throttle down, and my foot kept shaking, and it started doing that again. I was like, oh my goodness, it's been so hard and such a long road to get here, and been so close, and had that feeling of defeat, and man, it stings. It hurts a lot, and the last thing you want is to have that feeling again. But yeah, I felt so confident going into this week that we were the car to beat. I felt like, after winning Martinsville, it put us in the spot to really focus in on this race, and we did. We built a great race car, that was able to be good on the short runs. It wasn't a long run race car, that's for sure, but a 20-lap car, it was that for sure. And my race team, I wasn't worried about them at all, and I knew I just had to do my job, and everyone's going to do their job, and everything was going to be fine. Either way, everything was going to be fine, but I felt confident and relaxed that today was going to be a good day.
Tremendous. Thank you, Joey. We'll open up to questions. We'll start up here with Greg and then move around the room.
Hey, Joey. Congratulations, Greg Engel Auto Week. I know it's got to be a great feeling, but did Martinsville at all or flash back to you in those laps when you and Truex were running pretty close together? And I know there was a little bit of contact. Do you have time to think of that kind of stuff, that maybe, he could end this right here? Or did you guys work it out well enough that you knew that nothing like that's going to happen?
Well, you never know, right? You never know. But honestly, as a competitor, you have to keep that stuff in your mind. Everyone says, put it out of your mind, but you have to think about it. You have to make the right decisions and be smart about how we were going to race each other. And he raced me hard. He raced me the same way that I would have raced him. We ran each other hard and tried to, but there's nothing dirty, everything was fine. So I thought the three competitors that I was going against this week, it was maybe one of the coolest parts about this whole thing is that we went up against the best of the best. No one was in there by accident, and to beat the best, I guess that's what makes this championship feel so good. And I told my interior guy, Daniel Lynch, when I got in the car, I said, I'm getting in as a driver and getting out as a champion. And we were able to do that, so what a great feeling.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, KickingTires.net and PRN. On the final lap, when you were coming to the checkered flag, I've got your radio recorded, and you were pretty calm the whole last 15 laps, didn't say anything, let out a huge yell as you crossed the checkered flag, got the checkered flag. But what was going through your mind as you were going taking the checkered flag and then going through the cool down lap there?
Hey, you're just doing your job, and you're just trying to maintain that intensity and be perfect. That's what you're trying to do. And it's funny, TJ, my spotter, he's usually pretty relaxed. He doesn't really get too fired. Even in Martinsville, when we were coming across the line, he never stopped. He's kept spotting and he's relaxed and all. And I could tell in his voice he was getting excited. He was ramping up as we were going, and I was getting excited. And man, it's just right around the corner. And I tell you, it was incredible. It's just it takes us the whole team to do this, and you think about everyone that's at the shop that built this thing, and the heart that everyone's put into it, and the time away from their families, and what a motor. I didn't even talk about Roush Yates. What a motor, and putting Pennzoil on it too. Man, that thing was hot. We were in that thing hot, and she survived. I was nervous about it. That was something. So proud of the effort that. I guess I should be talking more than Team Penske, because it's the effort that all our partners put into it, not just what you see at the racetrack or what you see at the race shop, but what you see from the development center, from the oil, from the motor shop with Roush Yates to our marketing department and bringing the dollars to pay for all this. Everybody is just it's a team win for everyone, and I know it sounds so cliche, but man, it really is. It's just that it takes an army to do this, and you think about the team that Roger Penske's put together from the top, and with Cindric and Mike Nelson and Travis Geisler leading the group and hiring the right people, and building a great race team and building it stronger and stronger. I couldn't be more proud of those guys. And a lot of things happening before it gets to me. A lot of big decisions are made. But before the driver even knows what's going on a lot of times. So, they should be super proud of themselves, which I'm sure they are. But what a great race team from the top down.
Go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Joe, you said long road to here, 10 years in the Cup Series. When did you go from the driver who people could push around to the fearless driver you are today?
Oh, you tell me. Honestly, I guess I just felt like that. I'm back to where I was growing up. As a kid growing up, I was an aggressive racer, and I was able to win a lot of races. And I got humbled pretty quick. I guess humbled is a word. I don't know. I got beat up. I got pushed around a lot. I wasn't fast. Didn't have no respect. And that I think beats up on your confidence pretty quickly. And you have to kind of dig back inside. And every sport's a mental sport, so you have to really figure out how to be strong again and dig out of holes. And I said it after the race in one of the interviews, but the opportunity to make mistakes is one of the best things that can ever happen to you. And I made a lot of mistakes in front of all of you, and things I shouldn't say or whatever it was, but there's no regrets either, because that's formed me to the man I am today. And if it wasn't for each and every one of those mistakes, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So, and I wouldn't have the people around me either that surrounded me. So, God teaches you many lessons, sometimes the hard way, but I wouldn't take any of them back. Even if we didn't win today, I wouldn't.
Go Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Two for you, Joey. First, Thursday during media day, you said you were the favorite. You called your shot and you backed it up. What was it that, through all of this all week, made you so sure that this was going to be the final outcome?
I think there's quite a few things. You can't just be confident and say it, because then it's just kind of BS, right? You have to believe it inside. And I think I see my family sitting over there and the support that they give me and pump me up sometimes when I am feeling down. I'm still human. I'm the first one to look inside before I look outward, and so I'll beat myself up pretty quick. But I do know that we've been here before. I kept telling myself that, and it's funny. The other night, I was with our management team, Clutch, Noah Gregson and Cole Custer are drivers as well in there, and I was talking to both of them, and my wife, we were driving from the Comcast Community Champion Award back to the racetrack, and I called Cole, and we were talking back and forth, and I looked over, my wife was recording what I was saying, because she wanted me to hear what I was saying, because I was telling them to be relaxed and that this is going to be good, and no matter what, today, win or lose, you become a stronger man at the end of the day. When you put yourself in high pressure situations, you find more out of yourself than you know that's there. And I think that move at the end of the race shows that you refuse to lose. You really do. Because I know how much it hurts to finish second. So just a crazy thing to do that, but you honestly need to preach to yourself sometimes. And I do that as much as I can and to our race team, because we didn't have a reason to not feel confident. We really didn't. We've executed under high-pressure situations before, and we've been here before and done a great job. My pit crew was incredible, so I had everyone around me. I just had to go do my job, and the hard part was kind of over. Plus, all you guys thought we were the underdog. I didn't think that, but most everyone did, so maybe someone wants some money in Vegas.
And Roger was in here earlier and talked about how you've matured as a driver and a person since joining Team Penske. Talk a little bit about both what he's meant to your career, and then you mentioned your family as well, how they've changed your perspective as you've...
I think, you eventually got to grow up, right? It doesn't mean I can't have fun. I still enjoy a lot of things, but, to first off drive for Roger Penske, it's what an amazing opportunity. Quite a few years ago, I knew being with someone like that, you can't lose, because he's a winner. And you want to surround yourself with winners all the way through. And, some of the best advice my dad's taught me is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. And that's pretty easy for me, actually, but I might not be the smartest one here, but I sure look good and I have the right people around me. And that's not just my race team, but that's my family all the way through. Because, like I said, there's a lot of support that goes back and forth, and a lot of things behind the scenes that not everybody here gets to know about or to see, and in preparation for this, because this isn't something that I take lightly going into a race weekend. You know, there's a lot that I study and look into, and there's a lot that everybody's, you know, each individual on our race team goes through to prepare, and they got to have a support group as well. You know, we talk about my family a lot, but you know, this is a long, grueling season. You guys know. You guys come to almost every race. Most of you do. You know, Jenna's shaking her head. That's funny. We're good. We're just laughing. Anyways, but if you think about the amount of time you take away from your family and how hard that is and how stressful it is, and missing things with your kids and missing baseball games or whatever it may be, hockey games, whatever, you know, graduations, things like that. This is a commitment. This is a long season. This is not easy to do. So I think everybody, you know, has a great, you know, backing from their family. My wife just did the Penske Ladies Night Out, which she does a great job honoring everybody that puts in all that time, and they have a good time for a night too. So it takes, like I said, it takes an army.
Zach? Behind you.
Zach Tanzwetti, KickingTheTires.net. You just spoke about your family. Obviously, it seemed like a very family-like atmosphere on the stage with your father there and Brittany and Hudson. You put Hudson inside the trophy. Looked like you guys had a great time. I mean, with everything that comes with the championship and that celebration, what was that moment like?
You have fun with it, you know, and you know, when you see the people you love the most, I think that's when you break down the most. You know, it's you think about, you know, how much they were there for you all the way through, and through the good times and the bad times, they were there, and to celebrate that moment with them is so special. And you know, the things that go through your mind, and you think about that moment Christmas morning when I walked out into the garage and saw a go-kart in there, and that was the beginning. That was it. All I wanted to do was drive from there out, and my goal was to be a NASCAR champion, and it took so many years and so many people and so much commitment from everybody to do it. So all that stuff goes through your minds when you see them. You want everyone to party with you, you know, and celebrate and be there. So just it's hard to put it into words, the way you feel at that moment.
Holly?
Holly Kane, NASCAR Wire Service. Joey, I asked Roger and Todd this question as well, but is there any extra satisfaction in winning in the way you did? It's the first time in the playoffs that the 4 championship drivers have finished 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I mean, you really had to beat those 3 to get the win today. The 4 of you dominated the whole race.
Yeah, and they're the best for a reason, right? They didn't make mistakes. They all found ways to maximize their finish. You know, with some different strategies from the 18, you know, that put them in the spot to possibly win the race. So it's just so many different things that happen. But yeah, we raced the best and we beat the best today.
Go here to Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. So Joey, the numbers are going to say you had a top 4 year, but maybe to some you've kind of been either overlooked or underestimated, the underdog, whatever you want to say. So explain why this is not an upset in a sense, and when did you feel like it, or at what point in the season did you feel like you went from being 4th best to having a shot at this championship?
You know, I think, honestly, my wife can probably vouch for this as well, as we talk about things a lot, but I really, 20 weeks ago, didn't think, I thought, man, if we get to round the 8, that's pretty good this year, you know, for where we were at the time. You know, we were consistent. That's what kept us up in the points all year long. We didn't have many bad races throughout the season, but I guess just as the playoffs went, everyone rose to the occasion. You know, when everyone picked it up, we talk about it at playoff media day before the season starts, and I always talk about how you have to find another little bit inside of you to just maintain when the playoff starts, because everyone's able to get a little bit better. And then as we do that, we started running better, and we're running top fives, we're winning stages, and I'm like, oh, you know, so we're in a decent spot here. You know, I think throughout the playoffs, I don't know, you guys probably know me, but I don't think anyone scored more points than us throughout the playoffs. Am I right or am I wrong?
That is correct.
I'm right? Oh,
that is correct.
Oh, that sounds good. Good. I'm glad I didn't say something stupid there. But, you know, but it goes to show that we executed under pressure, not just today or the last 5 races, but the last 10 really is when I felt like we got a shot at this thing, and probably the last 7 or so was when I felt like we had a great shot, to answer your question.
Deb?
Deb Williams, RacingToday.com. Joy, over here. To go back to something you said a few minutes ago about walking out in the garage on Christmas morning and seeing the go-kart and it was on. On TV, you mentioned that being a NASCAR champion had been your dream since childhood. When people ask you what you wanted to be, that was what you told them. What age did that start?
When I was about 6. So, yeah, that was it. I mean, every day I went to school, you know, you dress up what you wanted to be, and I'd say a race car driver. And in Connecticut, that wasn't really a popular thing. So that's a little odd, but that's what I wanted to do. And to be able to bring a championship to Connecticut, a NASCAR championship to Connecticut, how cool is that? Has anyone ever done that?
No. You're the first.
That's pretty neat. So maybe we made a lot of race fans in Connecticut. There's a lot of New England race fans, so as a New Englander, it means a lot to me to be able to do that.
So why NASCAR? Why not open wheel or something like that?
I love it. Just love stock car racing. It's, to me, my favorite form of racing. It's most exciting to watch. It's what attracted me as a kid. You know, it's what was on TV all the time on Sundays, and I was the race fan. I had all the Hot Wheels. I had all the, you know, the cards and all that. So, you know, to still be a fan at heart, but to be doing it, it's crazy.
Okay, we'll go to Caleb, Jim, Hugo, and then Brian.
Caleb was the kicking the tires out. Now you talked about kind of the age of 6, getting the go-kart, and then having aspirations to become a Cup champion. Kind of what advice would you give that younger self, knowing what you know now?
Honestly, one of my favorite quotes is having the opportunity to make mistakes could be the best opportunity you ever have. And, you know, not everyone gets to drive a race car, and not everyone gets to make a mistake in a race car and learn from it and become better and have another opportunity to make a new mistake. No one has that. Not everyone has that. So not no one, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So that's probably one of my biggest pieces of advice, and to enjoy every minute of it, because not everyone gets to push a race car to its limits, whether it's in the local level or here in the top level. Not everyone gets to drive as fast as they can without going to jail. You know what I mean? And I got a badass job. And I remind myself that, you know, even if we didn't win today, I know how blessed I am. It's crazy to think that, you know, I'm living out my dream. And, you know, when we do a lot of stuff with the foundation, and to be able to see a lot of these families that are just dealt a bad card, you know, and how they're still positive and able to fight through. We met an amazing family last night, and the little girl just got through brain cancer, and her mom lost her job because she was taking care of her kid. That's real life. That happens. And I guess to me, to think that I get to drive a race car for a living, sometimes it just seems kind of crazy.
Jim?
JimMutterMotorsport.com. A lot of us here were introduced to you actually before we ever saw you by people talking about you like Mark Martin and so forth, and to keep our eye out for you. And you came in with a lot of accolades and probably a lot of expectations, and got thrust into the Cup Series early at JGR. how hard was it at some point to not maybe live up to expectations that rightly or wrongly people kind of put on your shoulders? And then after that, is there some sweet satisfaction in that actually maybe some people who gave up on you, you still end up on top?
I don't know about the satisfaction piece, but to answer how hard it was, yeah, it's really hard because, you know, you come in with so much hype and you're expected to win right off the bat. You know, and if it wasn't for that hype, I wouldn't have had the job anyway. So I don't think it's a bad thing in any way. But I expected to go out there and win as well, and just got my butt handed to me on a platter. It's hard. There's a lot of times that, you know, I felt really weak, and, you know, I'd break down, and it was hard. You know, when you're confused, you don't know how to be better. You're 18 years old, or 19 or 20. I mean, it's some pretty big stuff for a teenager to be able to go through. Sitting up here, talking to you guys, trying to handle all those situations. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't really know what I'm doing, but just have a better idea of it, I guess. But it was really hard. But like I said, it makes you stronger in so many different ways. And even if I'm not a race car driver anymore, there's so many lessons that I've learned from being in this sport and being around you guys and in our garage and being around so many smart people. I'm able to take so many great lessons out of it. So, you know, at the time that I was losing my job at Gibbs, that was a pretty low point for me. And I don't think I think as clearly as I do now, thinking about all the lessons I learned. I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be a race car driver anymore, and what am I going to do with my life? And this is awful. And next thing you know, there's a 22 car, and Roger Penske, and Todd Gordon, and an amazing race team all the way through wants you to drive. Oh my goodness, you know, I guess that God works in some mysterious ways sometimes, and it's really worked out well for me.
Hugo. Good evening, Hugo Katas, AutoWeb.cz. In the final stage of the race, we could see that Martin was a little bit faster than you, and then suddenly after the final pit stop, you were the fastest. What did make you better for the final 15 laps? Was it strategy or different setting of the car, or what was that?
What did Todd say earlier? You guys in here? What did he whatever he did, made it faster. You know, like I said, our car was good for a short run, and it was like that all night. And I'd say he made some good adjustments there, the last one, to allow the car to be even faster on a short run, and that's what really paid off. So I guess as part of the strategy, I guess he made some good changes, and it worked out.
Brian?
Brian Eberly, Motorsports Tribune. Now, Joey, you kind of touched on it a bit with Connecticut not really being a racing hotbed, so to speak. How much more difficult did that make it for you to get here where you are today, and what sort of reactions are you expecting from Middletown?
I can't wait to go back. We have a trip planned here pretty soon to go up there, so man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just, you know, I think, you know, the reaction is going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to bring a NASCAR championship to Middletown, Connecticut, of all places, right? Just, I don't know who'd ever thought that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it means a lot, you know, to be able to do that. And was it harder? Not really. Like I said, there's a lot of racing up there. Modifieds are huge up there. You know, I raced at Silver City Quarter Midget Club and in Meriden, Connecticut. That's where I started. And Cavana knows. Look, he's laughing back there. He knows. He's the same place. He's a little older than me, though, so we didn't race each other. But
You were probably better. He's even older than
today's your birthday? No kidding. Well, happy birthday. This is, yeah. Well, happy birthday, Otter. Man, any other birthdays we want to celebrate today? No? Is everyone going to start singing next? Did they get you a cake at least? No? Anyways, that part is pretty neat to me. And it wasn't, you know, I don't think much more challenging there than anywhere else.
Go to Dustin, then open the press box into Tom.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I got a couple things I want to check. First off, one thing is the comment you made to Dan before the race. Is that something that you normally say something back and forth? Where did that come from?
I just pumped up, man. I was pretty jacked up. I was pretty jacked up since this morning. I don't know. I just you have a routine, and I know ways to bring myself to another level now, just as I've been around and how I get myself to feel that competitive vibe and get to that level that you need to be at to compete for a championship. And I was just there, you feel it. You feel like you're in that mode. And, I knew it was on the line. It's not like you forget about it. You like to think it's just another race, but you're racing for a championship. It's all or nothing, and I guess I just felt like I had myself where I needed to be, and I honestly felt that.
And you've talked about your path and certainly the challenges in your Cup career, but to leave here in 14, to leave here particularly in 16, I mean, those, and obviously even 15, for as good as you were, not to have that opportunity, the gut punches that those were, do those go away? How did those, how painful were those, and how does one bounce back? Because for some, those can be devastating blows.
Yeah, they hurt. They hurt a lot. And right when you think it's over, you got to go to the banquet and watch somebody else give the championship speech, and then it hurts again. But it's motivation to me. I try to find the positives in everything in life. There's too much negative in our world sometimes, and when you're able to just look at situations, there's always a silver lining in there. You just got to look for it. Sometimes it's hard to find it because it's easy for us to dwell on the bad stuff. But once you get past that and you look at what can make you stronger, I guess that's what it is, and it makes you not want to feel that again. It's almost like the fear of losing, is bigger than the want to win sometimes, and that's, I guess that's the way I think, but I hate that feeling, winning is sometimes just what you feel like you're supposed to do, and losing hurts a lot.
Go up to the press box.
Yeah, Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Joey Pennzoil has been involved in the sport for nearly 30 years and have been associated with champion drivers such as Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick, and they've won prestigious races, including your Daytona 500, but never won a championship. You delivered that for them today. How special is that?
Oh, it's incredible. I did not know that. But yeah, just like I said earlier, the amount of resources that Pennzoil puts into this and Shell does, it's second to none. It really is. It's not just a marketing point. That we say we use it in our car, and use it in your car and all that. It's true though. That is honestly the oil we run is built from the engineers and working with Roush Yates and the Pennzoil engineers as well, and everyone's figuring out what we need, because not only we want to make power, but we want reliability, and we want to do it at a really hot temperature. Those are the goals that we're trying to reach with the development of our engines and oil as well. So to have a partnership that's not just from the marketing side, but it's from the racing side of things as well, is what a cool partner, and it makes it authentic for me to talk about. That's why it's so easy for me to talk about, because it's true.
Anything else in the press box? Once, twice in the box? Okay, we'll wrap it up. Over here on the right to Tom Bowles.
Tom Bowles, front stretch, and Connecticut.
Man.
So I believe, Joey, you're the first driver to miss the playoffs the season before and then come back and win the championship, I think. So I wanted to know what that experience taught you, and was there ever a point where you thought you were going to lose Todd with the way driver crew chief turnover was during that difficult season? Can you just kind of take us back to how you came from there and those difficulties to be here now?
Yeah, I'd say it really wasn't the talk at all last year. We just thought that we had a very challenging year, and there's a lot of lessons we needed to learn, and we got stubborn and stuck in our ways, and we felt like this is what worked because we almost won the championship the year before, and we were the fastest car down here, and we should have won, and all this stuff, and then you go to the next season and you get spanked, and it's just, to take a step back and say, okay, we need to kind of think things over. And the rebound started maybe about 4 or 5 races before the playoffs last year, and it's been a slow but steady climb back to now at the top. It's just so crazy to think, but we dropped like an elevator, and we took the flight of stairs back up to the top. Man, it's just to be able to do that and fighting together with the whole race team, not just the 2 of us, but all the way through. And you make a little gain here, make a little gain here, make a little gain there. All of a sudden, man, we're champions the next year. What a fight!
Joey Logano, you are the 2018 Monster Energy Series NASCAR champion.
Damn right we are.
Thanks for all the time. Enjoy the celebration. And get that speech ready for Vegas.
All right.
What are you going to do tonight?
I don't know how to party, so